So for geography this week, we're doing Southern Africa. And I was going to let you guys use these. They're little gemstones that I got from Dollar Tree. Because here in South Africa, they are very well known for diamond mining and sapphire and ruby mining. These kind of look like sapphires. Or what was the other one? Tourmaline, which I think is light blue. So I'm going to use these. I'm going to use the point. And I'm going to point while I play the song. And the song is, of course, You See Happy Mom. All right, so I'm going to point to these first. So South Africa is the southernmost tip. And Lesotho is actually that little circle inside South Africa. It's actually pronounced Lesotho. Okay, so South Africa obviously is the southernmost tip of Africa. I don't know if you remember when we did Cape of Good Hope. Cape of Good Hope is the water that surrounds South Africa. So that's really the Cape of Good Hope and the Canary Islands up here are the only two things we've done in Africa. Cape of Good Hope, Strait of Magellan, Canary Islands, Treaty of Tordesillas. But now we're going to do this part. So we have South Africa, the country. Lesotho is inside South Africa. Botswana is in the middle, right above South Africa. And then we have Mozambique, which forms a Y over here. So you see this Y, Mozambique. And Namibia is on the west coast. So the song is Southern Africa finds South Africa, Botswana and Lesotho, Mozambique makes a Y, Namibia on the western coast. All right, and let me find something tinier. Or better yet, I will go up to our big map and I'll do it up here so you can see it better. Southern Africa finds South Africa, Botswana and Lesotho, Mozambique makes a Y, Namibia on the western side. Cool. We'll start with math. The identity law for addition states A plus 0 equals A. And you say it. A plus 0 equals A. Identity. So it's identifying how to keep itself, I guess. The identity law for addition states that if I add 0 to a number, it's going to be itself. Anything plus 0 equals itself, right? So A plus 0 equals A. And remember, A is just standing for an ambiguous number. Could be any number. So if it's 1 plus 0, it'll equal 1. If it's 2 plus 0, it'll equal 2. So A plus 0 equals A. And then the identity law for multiplication, very similar. Anything times 1 equals itself. A times 1 equals A. So if this is a 1 times 1, it would equal 1. 2 times 1 equals 2. Anything 1 time is itself. So A times 1 equals A. Now you say it. A times 1 equals A. All right, so for English, we're doing an interjection. So we've gone through almost all of the 8 parts of speech. If you remember our song, I think it was the very first week of the year. 8 parts of speech. 8 parts of speech. Noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, conjunction, interjection, preposition, adjective. So we've done almost all of those. I think we just haven't done preposition. So this week we're doing interjection, which is a word or phrase used as a strong expression of feeling or emotion. So now you say it. An interjection is a word or phrase used as a strong expression of feeling or emotion. And I wrote some examples. Wow and cool. Those are interjections. So if your friend's talking and you say, wow, that's an interjection. Cool, that's an interjection. So what I did with Harper this morning is I gave her our little animals, which you don't have to have them. You can just pretend any animal you want. Your imagination could do that. And we said, go ahead and say it in a mouse voice. So she said, an interjection is a word or phrase used as a strong expression of feeling or emotion. And then I said, do it in a monster voice. An interjection is a word or phrase used as a strong expression of feeling or emotion. Or do it in a parrot voice. An interjection is, Polly wants a cracker, a word or phrase used as a strong expression of feeling or emotion. So you can pick any animal you want to do and just say it as many times as you can. Let's see how many animals you can get. All right, for science, what units are used to measure electricity? Which I found this very interesting. So ohms, we did an O with our hands. And ohms measure resistance. So we took an O and we pushed out because pushing is resistance. Volts, we did a V. Volts measure voltage. And for that, Harper and I touched and we went zzz. So since Emily and Chris and Xana and Zori are together, you can say volts zzz, and touch your V's together. And say volts measures voltage. Ohms measure resistance. Amps, we did an ASLA, measure current. And then we did this with our hands because current looks like waves. Amps measure current. And watts, we did just like watt steam engine. We did a W. Watt steam engine measures power. And we put our, here, let me turn the camera around. We put our arms up. Watts measure power. So ohms measure resistance. Volts measure voltage. Amps measure current. And watts measure power. For Latin. So last week we taught our arrows for first conjugation future perfect tense, but I forgot that what we had done earlier this year was our arrow hat, our arrow birthday hat, which I think Emily took home with her. So if you have it, get it. If you don't have it, make one. I just cut it out of paper and taped it together. You could use a stapler, but I put this on Harper's head because it's basically an arrow birthday hat because this is to the tune of happy birthday. So arrow, eris, erit, aramis, eritis, erint, first conjugation, future perfect tense. And then I had Harper come up here and blow her candles out. So go ahead and blow those candles out. And then sing it again. Arrow, eris, erit, aramis, eritis, erint, first conjugation, future perfect tense. Right. History, which I don't have a title for. Tell me about the end of apartheid. In 1994, South African President de Klerk allowed free elections. Nelson Mandela became South Africa's first black president, demonstrating apartheid ending. And as you can see here, I drew the one black man and all the white people. So in 1994, they had their first free election, and the first black president became President Nelson Mandela. In 1994, South African President de Klerk allowed free elections. Nelson Mandela became South Africa's first black president, demonstrating apartheid ending. And apartheid was an actual law for racism. It actually gave people legal right to be racist and to not let blacks do anything, basically, that was important. So I'm going to play the song, and for this, I actually let Harper drum. I gave her 2 pencils, and I let her drum on some Play-Doh because it wasn't as loud as drumming on the table. All right, are you ready?
Demonstrating apartheid was ending. Demonstrating apartheid was ending.
In 1994, South African President de Klerk allowed free elections. Nelson Mandela became South Demonstrating apartheid was ending.
In
1994, South African president declared allowed free elections. Nelson Mandela became South Africa's first black president. Demonstrating apartheid was ending.
demonstrating apartheid was ending. Demonstrating apartheid was ending.
So I just played that about 7 times, and I let Harper beat on a pile of Play-Doh. Like this. Alright, and we don't have timeline this week. We have the President's song, and I personally like a particular one more than others because there's a lot of different versions. So it is Miss Steph CC on YouTube, which I'll show you right here. Miss Steph. Okay, so she's gonna walk through all the presidents, and these are all their names, all the way to our president right now, Trump. And you'll notice a lot of these presidents had 2 terms. So I think this is the same Harrison as this Harrison. And these are both Cleveland and both Roosevelt and tell me if you see any others. Bush, Trump. So maybe that's it. So we're gonna sing through it. I'm gonna hold my phone here so you can read easily, and I'm gonna play it.
United States presidents edited to include Trump's second term. Washington,
Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Adams, Jackson, Van Buren, Harrison, Tyler, Polk, and Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce, Buchanan, Lincoln, Johnson, Grant, and Hayes, Garfield, Arthur, Cleveland, Harrison, Cleveland, McKinley, Roosevelt, Taft, Wilson, Harding, Coolidge, Hoover, Roosevelt, Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, and Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, Donald Trump, our 47th president. It's for him we pray. One more time.
United States presidents Washington,
Oops.
Adams,
Jefferson, Madison, and Monroe, Adams, Jackson, Van Buren, Harrison, Tyler, Polk, and Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce, Buchanan, Lincoln, Johnson, Grant, and Hayes, Garfield, Arthur, Cleveland, Harrison, Cleveland, and Minley, Roosevelt, Taft, Wilson, Harding, Coolidge, Hoover, Roosevelt, Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, and Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, Donald Trump, our 47th president. It's for him we pray. So that's CC Cycle 2, Week 24. I hope that everyone is feeling better today, and I'll see you next week. So just a reminder, next week you do need all five STEM science projects: catapults, egg protectors, your tower, which, as you can see, Harper's tower, we had to hide it so that the other kids wouldn't destroy it. So this is Harper's tower. Are we not supposed to show? I don't know. Harper's tower, and these are from Dollar Tree, these big straws. They're much, much better to build with. So catapults, egg protectors, towers, bridges, airplanes. And we're just going to make sure that you built them well. That's all we're going to do. And hopefully with the extra week, we're going to get to the fire department. So I'll give them a call on Monday and see if we can get in on Friday. And the only other thing I want to say is I will text you all about some events I want to do through the summer. We have some potential new families that have reached out. So I want to host at minimum one event a month to keep us connected and to invite people to. So I was thinking a tea party from around the world, where you can dress up as anything you want and we can drink tea and connect it to geography. There's also going to be a catalog event, like an info meeting catalog event. But for current moms, it will help us get, just familiar with the catalog and some cool things in it, and also maybe the foundations book. I also want to do a park day. So I have botanical gardens passes, and I would love to invite families weekly. Actually, we go to botanical, so I would love to invite families to that. And finally, August, before school starts, I would love to have a field day. So let me know what you think about those things. And of course, for assembly, besides those announcements, we would also be doing the Pledge of Allegiance and the prayer time. So I'm praying for you all. I hope you have a good week. And I will see you next Friday. And we're going to start, I think if we still start at 10, it'll still be okay doing our science projects. More to come on that. All right.